Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. After many, many times of being right on this channel with my fight predictions and my analysis, I finally have to take the walk of shame. I was wrong. Sean Strickland beats Khamzat Chimaev. Man, he beats him. You know, whenever I give these fight predictions, and like I said, I've been undefeated on this channel with fight predictions. Not one time has anyone ever gone back to a video and say, like, man, dude, you were right. You were so accurate, the whole analysis. The one time, I'm finally wrong. Sure enough, the little critters are coming out of the bushes talking about, oh, it looks like this video aged well, huh, clown? Oh, you're so wrong. But, like, dude, but then, that's the story of my life, I guess. Whenever I'm kicking ass, oh, no sound, nobody around. It's a ghost town. Oh, but when I fuck up, sound the alarms, send out the lynch mob, put on the spotlight. Like I said, that's the story of my life. That's the story of my life. Whatever, man. We're just going to keep rolling. Whatever. But, Sean Strickland, I know I was wrong about it. And I want to say this. Somebody, they said, this aged well or whatever. He was referring to my first video, breaking this down and stuff. Well, I say, well, no, the video didn't age poorly because I still made a lot of valid points. I stand by a lot of the stuff I said in that video, and particularly surrounding the concept of cheap shots and martial arts, and how certain people don't. There's a difference between martial arts fans and fight fans. All those things like that, that I was talking about, I stand by. I just was wrong about the outcome of the fight. And even then, I don't want to say, man, I was complete, because I always like to emphasize, at the end of the day, I know anything can happen. And even in that video, I said it. I mean, yeah, anything can happen. I mean, Sean, he can probably pull something off. Nothing's guaranteed. And, like, you gotta understand, Sean was a heavy underdog. Like, literally, almost no one thought he was gonna win. Even people with the worst takes on these fights, people that always have horrible takes, always getting the fight predictions wrong, even they were agreeing that, man, I think Khamzat might win. Even the most horrible analysis out there. In this fight, people were saying, like, man, yeah, I don't see how Sean's going to win. So that tells you something. So the fact that Sean won, it just reconfirms that anything can happen. It doesn't mean the analysis wasn't rational or unfounded. It just means nothing's guaranteed. I think the logic behind why most people thought Khamzat should have just walked through Sean Strickland, I think it was founded, right? But again, like I'm just repeating myself, anything can happen, dude. We all know that. If you go back to that video, I said it. I said, I think 9 times out of 10, Khamzat beats Sean Strickland, or maybe even 8 times out of 10. And I stand by that. So saying that doesn't mean I think Khamzat is going to win all the time. So they fight 10 times, yeah, there's a chance Sean could win maybe once or twice. But I think if both fighters are, like, at their best, Khamzat has the edge, which obviously is going to lead me to what a lot of people are talking about, the weight cut and stuff. Khamzat, he cut a lot. At 45 pounds is a lot of freaking weight. And yeah, we did see we saw a difference in his performance. He didn't look the same. And, naturally, Sean Strickland, he wanted to come out and say, well, he had a shoulder injury. So now all the Sean Strickland fans want to say, well, Sean had a shoulder injury and all this stuff. And that's a typical type of thing to do with kind of like highly competitive people, or I would say immature people. Is like, if they know you weren't at your best, they want to immediately say, well, they weren't at their best either. Well, I had a knee injury, I had a shoulder injury. I don't know, man. Who knows? I'll just put it like this. I doubt it, because Sean Strickland pretty much fought the way we always see him fight. He didn't look different. He didn't look like a different Sean. Whereas Khamzat, he looked different. He looked like a different Khamzat. So, yeah, I definitely think the weight cutting was an issue. But at the end of the day, he still lost, man. And I definitely do think Khamzat can win a rematch. And you got to understand, just because a person is a favorite, sometimes the favorites don't always win. And this actually reminds me of the prediction I made with the Alex Pereira. I hate when this thing keeps riding up my head. I don't like my full head showing like that. All crazy. Anyway, but it reminds me of the fight between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And I said it. Everybody was all like, "Oh, Magomed is going to be the guy that beat Alex Pereira because he's a wrestler. He's Alex's kryptonite." I was like, "No, man," because unlike a lot of those others, Dagestanis, Magomed doesn't wrestle. He prefers to strike. So while I still do think a really, really good wrestler may be Alex Pereira's kryptonite, I said Magomed is not going to be the guy to do it. Now, obviously, when they fought the first time, I was technically wrong about that. But if you go back to that first fight analysis, all the things I said was still accurate. And it showed, and it was proven to be accurate, or they were proven to be accurate in the rematch. Because in the rematch, Alex looked like himself. He blew through Magomed. And the first time they fought, when Magomed won, he won because Alex pretty much wasn't performing at his best. Like I said, Alex psyched himself out thinking about the takedowns and stuff. But once that first fight happened, he's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to just try to take this guy's head off and fight like he usually does. And you saw the result. So even though Alex, in my opinion, he could have won that first fight, he didn't. I still went with Alex for the rematch. I stuck by everything I said in that first analysis. You know, so it's a similar situation. Like I said, the favorites don't always win. We've seen this with Randy Couture and Chuck Liddell. The first time they fought, everybody thought Chuck was going to beat Randy, knock him out. Boom, Randy was throwing him around. They couldn't believe it. He shocked the world. Then once they fought the next two times, Chuck knocked him out twice. Chuck was the favorite the first time around, but he lost. But it didn't mean nothing. He still won the rematches. Then we saw the same thing with GSP versus Matt Serra. Forget about it. Everybody remembers that. The world cannot believe it. Matt Serra knocking out GSP. Now, does that mean the analysis or reasoning behind why most people felt GSP would win was unfounded or irrational? No. I think it was very rational to think that GSP would have blew through Matt Serra. But again, anything can happen, and that's what happened. It was one of those 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 scenarios. Bam. That's what happened, right? And another example is when Lennox Lewis fought Rasim Rahman. Lennox Lewis was the heavy favorite, and he got knocked out. I think that's what happened. But then he went on to beat him. I don't know if they fought just 2 times. I don't know if they fought 2 rematches or 1. But you guys get my point here. Sometimes the heavy favorites don't always win. Because at the end of the day, anything can happen. But it's all good, man. I mean, listen, Khamzat, he's still a great fighter. And Sean Strickland, I don't know, man. Like, to be honest, and I got to give Sean Strickland credit as well, because Sean Strickland, his personality tends to, like, overshadow and, like, kind of drown out his fighting abilities. But, man, when you really kind of sit back and watch, honestly, I didn't know Sean Strickland's fighting record until this fight, until I just casually kind of saw it. It just really hit me. He was like 30-7 prior to this fight. And that's a really good record, a very good record. He's fought a lot of top-notch competition. Another big upset was the Adesanya fight. So, man, you forget that, man, Sean Strickland is actually a very high-level fighter. He is, and sometimes it's easy to forget that because of his personality and just the way he's always in a white T-shirt, blue jeans, very kind of dressed as simple. And I'm not it's a big Strickland fan, to be honest with you, but I can still give credit where credit is due, especially since I don't think. I mean, is there certain aspects about it I don't like about his personality, but you do see certain redeeming qualities there as well. As we saw, he's a guy that's able to kind of, but apologize for his mistakes and certain things he said. And I think he was genuine when he made that apology on the mic during that post-fight interview, because even when he fought Dricus, he lost that fight, but he still apologized over some things. And so you see that. You see a hint of humanity in Sean in comparison to some way worse and horrible fighters. I'm not going to say their names. We all know who they are. So, like I said, I'm still kind of on the fence about how I really feel about Sean as a person or whatnot. But after that fight, it's like, man, all right, he's not as bad as I once thought. I mean, there are some redeeming qualities there, I can say. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of him, because I'm not, but you see the redeeming qualities. At the end of the day, he's still one of those hardcore, radical, mouth foaming, oh, America, 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 no matter what, no matter how wrong America might be in certain situations, he's still going to be riding for this. So to that, considering that, taking that into consideration, I don't think I can ever really be 100% huge Sean Strickland fan. But again, he's not as bad as I originally thought, But yeah, I think Khamzat to be back, man. Khamzat is a great fight. I think he needs to move up because this isn't the first time he's had a weight cutting problem. I think they had to say no to the Nate Diaz fight. They canceled that because of Khamzat not making weight. So this has been a huge issue with him, man. Definitely he needs to move up, man. But he'll be back. The terrorists will be back. I terrorize you. I kill him. You know what I'm saying? He'll be back, man. I think it'll be cool to see a rematch. I don't know if it'll happen. Supposedly he was telling Dana why he wants to move up, and then there was a tweet saying he wants to do that rematch. So I don't know. Oh yeah, I was shocked too. I was shocked at how respectful they were towards the end of it all and stuff. Khamzat, he put the belt on Shine. It's like, whoa, and they even, I think, touched gloves in the beginning. So, you know what I mean? On one end, you can look at it, oh, it's good sportsmanship and stuff. That's a good thing. But another end, it's kind of, you can look at it as a bad look because it makes you wonder, man, at the end of the day, people got into MMA and stuff because they like the realness of it all. That was always a knock on the pro wrestling stuff, even though we all know pro wrestling's fake, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like a soap opera and stuff. But one of the things people like about the combat sports is if there was going to be any beef or animosity, it's real. That was always the thing. It's not staged. But now it's getting to the point where you see all these people, all these fighters saying all of this crazy shit, and then they're like, oh, it's all water on the bridge, and we were just selling the fight. I feel like that's a bad look, to be honest with you, because when you keep on going down this route of, oh, we're just trying to promote and hype the fight and stuff, it makes you wonder, well, man, are these fights just rigged and staged too? Now, me personally, I don't believe that. I don't think, I still think the combat is real, but there are a lot of people out here who have that mentality. They're just going to start creating conspiracy theories, and they're allowing these people to create these conspiracy theories off the basis of, man, a lot of these people are just fabricating beef and stuff, just saying anything. Oh, I didn't mean to say it. I'm just joking. So I think that's a bad look. So a lot of people there, they're saying, oh, I think it was good sportsmanship that they shook hands and blah, blah, blah. To me, if they didn't do that, I could have cared less, because that's real. Sometimes in life, you don't become cool with people ever, Sometimes the problems, the issue, the conflict, and, you carry that to the grave. It's never resolved, and whatever, who cares? So you got to be okay with that sometimes. But so all of this all just sell the fight stuff, and people just want sportsmanship. I think it's a bad look because it sends the message that you can just say anything and do whatever and just justify it. Well, I was just joking and we just did it for money, whatever. I don't think that's right, And we're seeing that's a huge problem these days, and you're seeing it the way you're just average people walking down the street and going to work and going to school, they're behaving. Oh, I was just joking. Oh, whatever. I'll say anything. I'll do everything. And, just get over it with shake hand. No, I don't know. Maybe I'm the oddball in this situation. There's certain things you say to me, you do to me, we're never cool. Ever. That's what it is, So, and I know I'm not the only one in life that thinks this way. And I know some people have a problem with that, whatever. If you don't like that mentality of someone not being cool with you for overstepping certain boundaries, watch who you cross. That's how I look at it, And because I don't think certain things, I don't know, man. That's my take, and I just think, yeah, I understand people are saying it's good sportsmanship. Yeah, it's cool, whatever. He wrapped the belt around him. But if they did not if they were not respectful and stuff after the fight, I couldn't have cared less, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, I would have looked at it as yeah, that's real, to be honest with you, because in life, you don't always become cool with people that overstep certain boundaries with you. Certain lines you just don't cross, but that's just my take. Anyway, I don't know. Khamzat, he's a great fighter. He'll be back, man. Khamzat, he's got to get to a good weight class, though, But the terrorist, he'll be back, We'll see what's next. If he wants a rematch, moves up, who knows? But he'll be back. I kill him! I am a terrorist! I am!
Everybody, I'm coming for everybody! Kill everybody! I'm the everybody.